If your marriage feels like it's hanging by a thread, you've probably been led to believe that the best way forward is to sit down and talk things through to make it better. So you try. You sit down with your wife, you explain your perspective, and you try to reason with her. It makes sense to us because as men, that's what we're taught at school, at work, in sports. If there's a problem, you talk, you plan, and you resolve. But oftentimes when you do this, instead of resolving things, your wife either shuts down, gets more irritated, or walks away saying, I don't want to talk about this right now. The truth is, when it comes to your marriage, trying to talk it through is often the very thing that pushes her further away. In reality, those big talks usually make things worse. In this video, I'm going to show you why that happens, and more importantly, what to do instead. When you get this right, you'll stop wasting hours in conversations that go in circles and instead create connection that makes her feel safe. And if your marriage feels like it's slipping away right now, I put together a free masterclass where I walk through this exact step-by-step roadmap to save your marriage, rebuild respect, and reignite intimacy. You'll find the link in the description below. Let's look at why talking it through is such a trap for men. When there's distance in your marriage, it feels logical to sit down and hash it out because as men, we're problem solvers. If something's broken, we generally just want resolution. So you push for that big talk. You think, if I can just explain my side, if we can just get on the same page, everything's going to calm down and get better. For the most part, especially when your wife's attraction has been lowering over a long period of time because you have not been showing up as a leader in the marriage, those talks don't go as we envision them. When you try to force resolution through a big talk, one of two things usually happens. She shuts down and gives short answers, which leaves you frustrated. Or it escalates into an argument because you're getting increasingly frustrated that she's just not listening to your reasoning, and she's frustrated that you don't understand her emotionally. So both sides walk away feeling more and more disconnected. The main reason is because as a man, you're using your inherent logic to solve an emotional gap. It's like oil and water. It does not mix. Here's another way to look at it. Imagine you've got a cut on your hand, and instead of putting a bandage on it, someone comes and just continues to lecture you on how you shouldn't have gotten a cut in the first place. Does that help you feel better at all? No, of course not. This is what happens when you try to reason your wife out of her feelings. You're explaining and she's feeling, and those two just don't meet in the middle. Think about the last time you had to untangle a stubborn knot, whether it was a shoelace or an extension cord or like a necklace or a chain. When you pull hard on that knot, what happens? It tightens. It gets harder and harder to move. But when you slow down and work methodically with the right strategy, piece by piece, it starts to open up and untangle. Your marriage works the same way. When you try to talk it through by pulling harder, more explanations, more convincing, more pressure to resolve things right now, the emotional knot in your wife just keeps tightening and tightening. But if you ease back, stop forcing, and give her space while being steady and calm, the tension will start to loosen, and that is when real connection has a chance again. The solution isn't to pull harder, it's to change your approach. Just like a knot needs patience and steady hands, your marriage needs steadiness and presence, not endless words. So if talking it through makes the knot tighter, what should you do instead? I'm going to give you 3 guiding principles that will help you shift everything in your marriage. Principle number 1, presence over pressure. Most men demand resolution. We need to sit down, we got to fix this right now. But that pressure signals desperation coming from you. So instead, lead with presence. And presence means showing up through your tone and your body language and your calmness, that no matter what happens, you're solid and you're good. You're not going to lose your mind over whatever she says or how she feels. Pressure is, we need to fix this right now, versus presence. I'm here, I get this is tough, and I'm not going to go anywhere. That steadiness in being calmly present is what helps her nervous system relax internally. Principle number 2, tune into feelings, not words and explanation. When she says, you don't support me, what do most men do, and what was I guilty of for a long time? Immediately start to argue and say, that's not true, I did this for you, I did that for you, and you just get into a back and forth about how good you supported her and all these little technicalities. But she isn't asking for a fact check on your part. Underneath her words, what she's really asking you is, do her feelings matter to you? And the right response is not to get into a debate over the technicalities and what you did for her last Wednesday and all those different things. That is the response we're triggered to do as men, and solve problems and debate and argue over logic. But that's not the right response. The right response is empathy and acknowledgement. You might say something like, "It sounds like you've been carrying a lot alone." Saying that doesn't necessarily mean you're agreeing with every word she's saying. You're simply recognizing her feelings. And when she feels that recognition, her guard begins to drop. Principle 3, lead with actions, not speeches. Respect does not return in your marriage because you explained your intentions or your love better. It returns when you show actions of steadiness and strength over a long period of time. When you stop collapsing every time she gets upset or says something personally to you, when you stop chasing her moods and being succumbed by her emotions and what she's feeling and mirroring that and basically doing the same thing in terms of being upset and then arguing, and when you start showing up with clarity and backbone to your values, that is when she begins to feel safe again. Think of it like going to the gym and trying to build muscle. You're not going to get strong by giving your arms one pep talk. You get strong by showing up rep by rep, day after day. If you want her to feel safe, she has to see you living your standards, not chasing, not begging, not collapsing every time she's upset. And when you hold calmly this frame of the relationship while pursuing your purpose and leading your own life in a calm, masculine manner, she's going to feel safer and start to reconnect with you again. So here's the bottom line. The number one mistake men make when their marriage feels like it's falling apart is believing that another big talk will fix things. But logic does not heal an emotional wound. Pressure does not untangle the knot. Instead, focus on presence over pressure, tuning into emotion instead of arguing little minute details, and leading with consistency and not just speeches. That's how you stop wasting energy on circular talks and start creating an atmosphere where respect and connection can grow again. Now, this is powerful, but it's only one piece. If you want the full step-by-step roadmap to rebuild her trust and save your marriage, that's what I walk you through in my free masterclass. Click the link below in the description, watch it today, and take the next step. And if this video helped you, hit like, subscribe, and share with any other man who needs to hear this message as well. I'll see you in the next episode.